This is the sixth video in the series, Becoming Well Read. In this video I will attempt to read one of my books in an attempt to become well read. In this video I will be talking about Stephen King's Carrie, which was originally published in 1974. It was actually his first novel, so that's pretty cool. Guys, I'm trying a slightly different camera angle for this video, but yeah, I recently read Carrie by Stephen King, his first book, originally published in 1974. There were, I believe, 2 movies made from this book, and they were horror movies. And very quickly, what Carrie is about is a girl who is a telepath, able to control things with her mind, who has an extremely religious mother. As a matter of fact, her mother is a bit of a religious zealot, like a weirdo. She considers herself probably better than everybody else. She doesn't communicate with the rest of the community normally because, you know, everybody else is a sinner. And Carrie, Margaret White's daughter, Carrie, her daughter, is going to school and is heavily bullied for being so weird. Bullying reaches a sort of crescendo point earlier on in the book where she is heavily chastised by her peers because she got her period and she didn't know what it was. Her mother had never taught her. This is an older woman, I think 16 or 17, so older teens, who you would have expected to have this experience already, and she didn't, and it didn't go very well for her. One of the students who felt really bad for Carrie decided that her boyfriend should take Carrie to the prom, and Carrie was invited to the prom. She decided to go. She spent time making her dress, and at the prom, somebody decided to play a practical joke and spill blood on Carrie. And basically what happened was Carrie kind of went crazy, killing people with fire. And she basically set the town ablaze, and that's the story of Carrie. At the end, Carrie dies mainly due to a knife wound that her mother inflicts on her, although she does kill her mother as well. And that's the story of Carrie. There isn't really much else to say about it. It's actually a really quick read, only 245 pages, so I finished that very quickly. What do I have to say about Carrie? It's not the best book, but there were a lot of parts of the book that I did appreciate and like. One of the parts I really appreciated and liked was when he kept referring to the White Commission or the Carrie Commission. After the events of the book, they had a commission on telepathy, and they were talking about what if this happens to someone else? How do we deal with this situation? What's going on? And they use like facts of the case. There were also apparently books written about the Carrie story, and the excerpts from those fictional books were here. So it's basically, although the story is told linearly, he has breaks in the story that are non-linear. They go to books that are supposedly written after the events of the story that sort of illuminate the situation a bit more, the way people are feeling. And that really isn't told through narration, that's told through those excerpts. And I really like that about Stephen King's writing. I actually like a lot of books that are like that, non-linear. Do I recommend this book? Probably not. It's kind of gruesome and gross, even though I did get enjoyment from the idea of telepathy. The manner in which it was used, the way Carrie used her telepathy in this book did go a bit too far in my opinion. I would have preferred a more intellectual take on the entire situation. But a revenge story is usually a good story because you sort of feel like, you know, the person who was being picked on did get her revenge. Even though you do feel bad for Carrie, and in the end it's sort of like sad that she had to die as well, even though it wouldn't have been good for her being a murderer and all. But yeah, that was Carrie by Stephen King. And so, now time to reveal the next book I'm going to read in the series Becoming Well Read, The Giver by Lois Lowry. This book was written in 1993, and so, you know, in relation to all the Stephen King stuff I've been reading recently, it's a bit of a newer book, and so that's exciting. So yeah, join me next time for the 7th part in Becoming Well Read. Ciao.